Hello, fans of the Let's Talk Chicago Bears football. I'm back. Can't get rid of me that easily. So today we're going to talk about, tomorrow night's game, and and I'll give you some stuff that I found and stuff like that. But first, I'm going to talk about my picture up here. I've got this picture here, kind of a cool story. It's got Mike Ditka's signature on it. Back in '87, we were at a local fair in Wheeling, back in Illinois, and they had 20 posters, and the Catholic Church was selling them for charity, and Mike Ditka has signed just 20 of them. So we purchased one because it was cool and it went for charity, and then we had it framed to this really cool thing. So this is a really cool thing, and it's a painting of the '85 Bears. So pretty cool. You can't really see how cool it is, but it is signed, so that makes it even better. So that's my one thing today I want to show you. And I am wearing, not many people remember him, Mike Tomczak. Yay! And the reason I'm wearing Mike Tomczak is because he got kind of fucked around too as the Bears quarterback back in the after we won the Super Bowl in '86 or '87, where he took over for injured whoever our quarterback was then. Was it? Well, I think it was still McMahon, or it might have been Flutie. Anyways, and he did really well. Tomczak did really well, and then he got an injury, and then he was on the sidelines. And you know the rule: you don't lose your starting job, because he was the starting quarterback, and I think it was '87, and he got injured, hurt his shoulder, came back after 2 games, and Ditka kept saying, I don't know if I'm going to start him, this and that. Well, he was doing really well, Tomczak, when this happened. So he came back in, and he threw 1 interception, and he yanked him. Just yanked him. And he put in the other quarterback, and it was probably Doug Flutie. And it really screwed with his mind. I know it did. And it's just so unfair. Ditka, how he did that, and it was like, so he kind of, Ditka kept going back and forth. He wouldn't tell anybody who was, you guys remember back in the '80s, long fans remember, true fans know, and it was like back and forth, and Doug Flutie was, up his ass, and being a kiss ass, and that's why Flutie had brown on his nose. But and then as soon as Tomczak's contract was up, he was gone, and then he ended up going to Pittsburgh, and I forget where else. But kind of a funny story about this. My sister got it for me, and this is like the old time jerseys. This thing weighs like 5 pounds. I swear to God, it's not like the stuff you buy nowadays. I mean, it is very heavy and very hot. So, but I got to tell this story because it was really funny. So it was back in probably '87, '88. Me and my sister went out for some drinks on a Friday night. I don't remember what bar we were at. And we started talking to a bunch of, there's a guy and a couple girls, and they were sitting there. And we were drinking, and I happened to have this jersey on. And they're like, oh, Tomczak. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm his sister. And my sister looks at me, and I'm like, I give her like a little wink. And they're like, really? Get out of here. You are not. So I knew all these facts, which now I don't remember. But I knew where he went to college. I knew where he was, I knew where his hometown was. I knew all this weird stuff because I liked Tomczak. I did. And so I'm saying all this stuff, and they're like, wow, maybe you are. And I said, yeah, I'm his older sister. And they're like, really? And I'm like, oh, yeah. So I'm telling them. And then they were like butter in my hand after that. And they believed everything I said. And they were asking me all this stuff. And I'm saying all this bullshit. Oh, so what goes on in the locker room? I'm like, oh, if you only knew. They're really a bunch of cads. They're like women. It was hilarious. So that's my funny Tomczak joke. I was his sister for one night in a bar. And about 4 people believed me. It was pretty funny. So me and my sister had a good laugh about that. So so that's Tomczak. So let's get on to this week. Tomorrow, tough game. Tough game. I'm not afraid of Brady like I was when he was with Belichick in New England, but I don't care if he's 43 or 83. He's still got it, man. There is just no doubt about it. I mean, my son and I were talking about it. He's still got it. Like Drew Brees, if you see him play this year, not looking so good. But that's all right. He's had a very good career, so he got nothing to complain about. But, you can see he's on the other end. I haven't seen Ben play a lot, Ben Roethlisberger from Pittsburgh, but he's on, he's approaching his end. But they're not in shape like Tom Brady, that guy. I don't know. He's just one of those guys. I think that with hard work, he keeps his body up. He works hard. I'm not a big fan because I felt with him and Belichick in New England, they were kind of like cheaters. I felt they were cheating. And his talent, you don't need to cheat. But I felt like they were cheating. And I think a lot of people feel that. And that's why people didn't like them. And the fact that they won 6 Super Bowls. Or was it 7? Oh, well. I have a show and I don't even know facts. What is wrong with me? But it's going to be a tough game. He's got some weapons. There's no doubt about it in Tampa Bay. Now, the Tampa Bay defense is ranked. And this was yesterday. So it could change a little bit. Or was this Tuesday? Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah, this was from Tuesday. The defense is ranked 6th, and their offense is ranked 8th. And the Bears' defense is rated 8, and our offense dropped all the way down to 29. So, defensively wise, we're right there, 6 and 8, right there, right? But not offensively wise. So, but our defense, and we've got safeties now. They're not perfect yet, but they're getting there. Like 33, Johnson. Is that his last name? I will. We're going to go in that in a minute, but 33, I know it is. He's the rookie. He's really good, and I think he's going to be really good for us if he stays healthy. 2 guys that really stand out from last year's draft for this year is number 33, the safety. It's JJ. I call him JJ because his first name is a J and his last name is Johnson, so I call him JJ. So let's just all call him JJ, all right? Number 33 is safety. He's real good. And then our receiver, Mooney, really good. I think he's going to be a diamond in the rough for us. I think he's going to pop out. That's the one thing my son always says to me about Pace. See, I'm like, Pace needs to go. Which usually means the manager needs to go, but I'm not sure yet about Nagy. But Pace, I mean, let's face it, he fucked up with this whole. He went up, he traded up to get Mitchell, and look what happened. We could have had some really good quarterbacks, and but then again, I say to myself, the Bears wouldn't have known what to do with Patrick Mahomes, and he probably wouldn't be doing what he's doing now if he was with the Bears, right? Right, we know. Any true Bear fan like me knows, yeah, you're right. They wouldn't know what to do with them. So, but Pace should be. And the other thing he did, a lot of people forget, is he let Robbie Gould go because he had one bad year. Kickers have in their career. If you have a long career in the NFL, you're gonna have a bad year. It's just how it is. And he had one bad year, and it wasn't that bad, and he let him go. He didn't re-sign him. They should have, as we see now. How many games have we lost since Robbie Gould's been gone? Because we have no kicker. 2 years ago in the playoffs, we would have advanced. Not that we really would have deserved to be in the Super Bowl because we didn't. We weren't good enough, obviously. But Robbie Gould alone, he should be gone. But my son, and he's never good in the first round. But he can pick rounds 2 to 5. He's really good in those. So if you have somebody else take care of round 1, then he's good at the rest. So I don't know what that says about him. You know what I mean? He can't make the real decision, but he can do the semi-important ones, 2 to 5, right, in the round. So make it what you think of that. So, and what else? Okay, so the Bears, injury-wise, we've got Bush out, D. Bush, he's a safety, and McManus. They're both safeties, and they're both very questionable. So I don't know if they're going to play tomorrow. That was today. They both have hamstrings problems. And McManus, interesting enough, he went to Northwestern. I didn't know that. So he's a scholar. We've got a scholar on our team. And he's been with the Bears from 2012 to now. And then Dion. Hello, I lost you there. I don't know where you went. I don't know where you went. Sorry. There we go. You're back. Um, and Dion has been with the Bears since 2016 to now. So that's and the Bucks have really no injuries to speak of that are going to be that big of a deal right now. Now it could change. They could have put him in today and after they practice, but I didn't see anything. So um, and these rankings were right after the last week's game, so they might have changed a little bit. I didn't get a chance to check today, but we'll see. So we've got a pretty decent defense. They are, except for our linebackers, except for Roquan Smith, but Danny is showing his age, and then they have been rotating on the linebacker in. So I'm never really sure who it is. So we'll just say he's unnamed because we never hear that names their names, so we know. But the only name we usually hear is Roquan Smith. But our defense is pretty good. We've got a good line. And remember, Mac's still hurting with that knee, and our corners and our safeties have really improved this year. So, and I said that 33, I think he's a corner. He's not a safety. But I do have some facts. So let's get to those. I have some facts I want to tell you guys that I saw. So let me get to those. Let me. Wrong one, Lynn. All right. So the Bears defense ranks third in third downs. That's interesting. Efficiency. They're allowing conversions on on only 34.4% of the attempts. So they're only allowing a first down 34% of the time. So that's not bad. That's why they're ranked third in that department. What else did they say? The defense ranks seventh in three categories. Yards per play, they have been allowing 5.3. Yards per passing attempt, 6.2, which is going to be very important tomorrow. And points allowed, they've allowed 81. So they rank seventh in those categories. And the Bears rank sixth in yards per kick return. So that's a good thing, right? Yes. So let's see what else we got here. But it is going to be, as I was saying, it's going to be important as far as what they were saying, passing 6 yards only because Brady can frickin' throw that ball. I saw him last week and I was just like, it just doesn't look like he has skipped a beat. So the defense has got to, tomorrow the defense has got to play penalty free, mistake free defense. They got to be all in every play because it's going to be really, really tough tomorrow. They're a very good team. It's not the Tampa Bay of old. Tampa Bay is here, and you got it. You're like, oh boy. So, but again, it would really be nice if we could get some turnovers, especially some interceptions. That's the one thing about Brady is you can rattle him. If you get some interceptions or you start getting close to him, if you hit him a few times, he gets rattled. Doesn't happen often because that doesn't happen to him much. He always had great offensive lines in New England, so it didn't happen much. But if you get after him, I've seen it in games. You can get in his head. So that's what the Bears absolutely need to do. They have got to be pressuring him all the time. So we'll see about that defensive wise. Go defense. So let's talk a little offense. So, wait, one more second about the cornerback. His name is Jalen Johnson, number 33. And he has successfully defended 7 passes, second most in the NFL and first among rookies. And then the receiver, Darnell Mooney, ranks 7th in catches with 13 and 135 yards, and that's amongst rookies. He ranks first in both categories in players taken after the second round. So he was taken after the second round into the third round. So that's pretty good. That's why I say he's the diamond in the rough. He's we got him late. See, another example of how Pace can find good people in those later rounds. So Mooney, and then also Allen Robinson. He ranks ninth in receiving yards with 331 and 11th in receptions with 25. Robinson also has recorded more than 100 receiving yards in each of the past 2 games. So that's good. But we got to get Nick Foles has got to get on. But let me finish. I got a few more things. But my favorite, Hicks. Love my Hicks, 96. Again, as I say, he went to Regina College in Canada. I just love saying that. But Hicks is tied for 4th in sacks with 3.5. He's second in tackles for loss, which is awesome. And then Roquan Smith, I was kind of surprised to see him up there, but he ranks 5th in total tackles with 33 and is tied for 4th in tackles for loss. So that's a good thing, right? That's a real good thing. So that's some little tidbits we've got for you today. And but now on to Foles. So yes, Nick Foles has got to show that he can be what everybody says he's got to this is the answer, right? So let's see. We're going to put Sunday's game away. We're going to just chalk it up to he hasn't really had a lot of times with the receivers, and but the offensive line, that worried me a little bit because he's different. He's not Mitchell. They were used to Mitchell. Now they got somebody else, and Mitchell was a runner. Nick is not. See, Mitchell could take off once he got permission from Nagy. And then, but Foles is not going to do that. So it's different schemes, different blocking. So the offensive line, that's why they didn't look good last week, I think. But Nick Foles has got to stay in there, and he's got to show what he's got. So this game is huge for him, and it's huge for Nagy. Quite honestly, the whole thing is huge for Nagy when you think about it, because as I said the other day, Nagy's wanted Mitchell out. He's never wanted him actually from the beginning, I don't think. Maybe 2 years ago he was like, yeah, and then he thought he could mold them last year into what he wanted, and it didn't work. You can't make somebody be something they're not. And I do believe Nagy wants to be like a guru in the NFL, like reputations like Andy Reid has, like Bill Belichick has, that's what he wants. He wants he wants to be them next, because he's younger, obviously. But I don't think it's going to happen, because, I don't know, we'll see. So, when you think about it, this move he made, if it backfires, what's going to happen? But let's not talk about that, right? We're going to be positive about tomorrow. It's going to be a tough game, guys. I forgot to look at the weather. Let's see what the weather, hang on. Let's see what the weather is going to be in Chicago. I did forget to do that. So let's look that up, all right? The weather for tomorrow, beautiful. Sunny and 67, the low is 53. So that is actually going to be perfect football weather. I know it's a night game, but 53, they love that kind of stuff, So weather's not going to be a problem for either team. I don't know. We're just going to see. But the big thing is, what have I been talking about? If you've been paying attention, 2 things I've been talking about since I started this show, more than anything. I don't hear it. Come on, people. Penalties and running the ball. There you go. So if we keep the penalties down, the last 3 weeks has just been horrible. Last week was terrible. I told you, 103 yards for penalties. Come on. And they got to get back to running the ball. Even if I was saying they should do some play action then, run Montgomery out 3 yards, 4 yards, and drop a ball. It's the same as a run. We used to laugh last year when Nagy did that. I said, that's his version of a run, a play action. So do it again, Nagy. You're good at that. You got to get David Montgomery involved in this game tomorrow. So important. Because for 2 reasons. Number 1, running the ball, you wear the defense down. And number 2, and the most important part is, you keep Brady off the field. The longer he's off the field, the better chance we have. I mean, it's just simple math there. Because you let that guy on the field. I mean, last week, if you saw him in the game, he was down in the first half, and I was like, wow, he kind of. But Brady, you don't got. I mean, he's like, whatever. He could be down 40 points, and he's like, what? I got this, guys. And the fucker's right. He does have it. He's like Aaron Rodgers. You do not consider the game done until the fat lady sings, and that would be me. Um, so, like a couple years ago when the Bears, the first Monday night, it was the first game of the season. It was Thursday night. We played Green Bay, and we were up 24-0. They came back and won that game. Yeah, I've been there a few times. Oh, I mean that's like a knife in my heart. Oh my god. So, anyways, correct myself up. So, while you're watching the game, remember penalties. Running so important. We've got to get Montgomery in the game, and Nick Foles has got to have a game. And our defense has got to be as solid as they have been so far. So if we can, get those things going, we have a chance. We do. I really believe we do if we do what I just said. So I hope, and I hope you scream loud so that they can hear you all the way down in Soldier Field, and maybe we can hear you in Vegas, baby, because Vegas, baby, is where it's happening. You bet, baby. So, anyways, go Bears, and we'll see what happens, right? We'll talk Friday. I'll come back. Maybe I'll sing the Bear Down Chicago Bears, but I'll only sing it if we win the game tomorrow. And I know you want to hear me sing some more. So, I love you guys. I appreciate the support. I've had some guys reach out to me that have people that actually watch their shows. So they've given me a lot of support, which is kind of nice. So I appreciate the support. I really do. You know what? If it's 5 or 25, I prefer 25 people to watch my show, but I appreciate that. I really do. And again, I always end my show with love one another, take care of each other. And let's just all get along, right? I don't get it, but that's where I'm going to leave it. I love you guys. I love the Chicago Bears. Keep on rocking, everyone. And this is it for Let's Talk Chicago Bears from Vegas, baby. Have a great one. Go Bears!